everybody, welcome to another live episode of The Grid. My name is Scott Kelby. We have a very cool guest with us today. This is Roy Ashen. Roy, welcome to the show.
Welcome. Thank you.
All right, Roy he's a rock and roll guy, man. He's a total rock and roll guy, and he's also really, really good at marketing. So we're going to talk about marketing your photography today. That's our topic. And what I like about it is you've got some interesting stuff. It's not the same old stuff.
Thanks. Well, I'm a musician, not a photographer, but it's amazing how much we have in common. Most photographers and musicians, they're good at the art and they struggle with the business. So there's some really innovative ways to approach both.
Yes, there is. We're going to be talking about a whole bunch of that today. A couple things before we start going. You probably want to know what we're giving away today. Well, I'm going to tell you. We're giving away some stuff. You know what we're giving away? Bang! Frank Duerhoff's Mastering the Model Shoot, a fantastic book from a fantastic guy. He's a foreign man in a foreign land. It's a great book. It's probably the best book ever written on the topic. It's really awesome. So that, we're giving away a copy of that, and we're giving a copy away if you've heard of Mr. Peter Hurley.
Can I say it? Shebang!
Shebang! Peter Hurley.
Shout out, Peter.
Shout out to Peter. We're giving away a copy of Peter's book today, and we're also giving away 2 tickets to my seminar Monday in Nashville, Tennessee, or on the 25th in Indy. Your choice. Either one of those. We're going to give away those all at the end of the show, which forces you to stay to the end of the show. Now, theoretically, they could do something else and come back at the very end of the show.
Don't. We got some good stuff for you.
We got some good stuff. You don't want that happening.
Got some good stuff, baby.
All right, we do, man. We're going to shout out to Fran Hughes. Hi, Fran. Fran's over in the UK. Fran, don't you ever go to sleep? You know what time it is over there?
If Fran's in the UK, they probably just heard my bad English fake accent.
Matt Tarnitsky says, I can tell by his beard that Roy may be a handsome, evil genius. He's a freaking genius, I'll tell you that. Handsome,
thank you, Matt.
Handsome, he looks like he's been hit by the ugly stick many, many, many times.
Matt,
no, I'm kidding, of course.
Matt, you're as generous as you are wise.
There you go. Ooh, wow, look at that. All right. Hey, one thing before we get into our topic, because I wanted to dive right in here. But last week, thanks everybody for your wonderful support. We had Matt Klaskowski on the show, who's one of the guys the guy that co-founded the show with me. It was so great to have Matt in the studio. We had so much fun. It was such a good show. Got so many great comments. Thanks for everybody. Hey, if you want to learn more or be able to follow Matt, go to his website. So he's at mattkay.com. You know, he got that website.
He must have got in early for that website.
No, we got it late. It was just some guy wasn't really using it. He's like, oh, yeah, I know your show and stuff. Yeah, it's, give me $15 or something. It was like ridiculous. It was like, he was just kind of like, yeah, sure, go ahead. Like Matt K. How do you get mattkay.com?
Do you think the guy that had the original domain is now biting his fist going, oh, I can't believe
this was like a year ago. I mean, literally, it wasn't like, it was like, but I mean, anyway, it was cool that he did it.
It was either that or Matt was going to have to change his last name.
Yeah. Well, nobody was going to have Matt Klaskowski, but it's a hard name to pronounce. I mean, it's a hard name to spell if you don't know how to spell it, and people mispronounce it quite a bit. But anyway, it's a perfect website to name. mattkay.com. He's got all kinds of great stuff there. You can follow him on YouTube. You can follow him from everywhere. When you go to his website, he's got a link that says like follow Matt, and he has a whole page that's just click here, Facebook, Twitter, all the different things. So go there to mattkay.com. All right. Today our topic, we're going to be talking about marketing your photography. Now, we've had a lot of people on here talking about marketing and stuff. And a lot of it has been, and I don't mean this as any kind of criticism of people before you, Roy.
Okay, here we go.
But a lot of it has been, do this on Facebook and do this on Twitter and stuff. But and the reason why I think it's so great to have you here about this is because have you guys noticed in the last 60 to 90 days, all of these platforms have changed?
Yeah.
Instagram has changed, Twitter has changed, Facebook has changed. What are they all about? All 3 of these sites that were famous for photos, they've all changed.
It's video.
It's all they care about is video.
Yeah.
All they care about. I just saw an interview last week with Mark Zuckerberg? Yes, Mark Zuckerberg,
right.
Where he was basically, it's video.
He says that there's an exact quote from him. He says, the future of Facebook is video.
Yeah.
In fact, YouTube right now, 4 billion video plays a day. Facebook, over 8 billion video plays a day. So I like to say to photographers, how much content are you creating to generate interest in your work? And it's not just about posting anything. It's about posting stories that have relevance to people, stories that evoke emotion. Right? The idea that if you want to find new clients and you're posting image, but there's not really a theme going on. You're just trying to post good looking work. You'll find some people. But if you're posting stories, that's the power of video. Video, and when we say video, we're also talking about slideshows. You know, you can render those as MPEG files or QuickTime files, but the power of multi-sensory experience, video, stills, and music, including your voice, to tell that story is the number one way we're seeing people grow their business.
Well, stories are how we learn. I mean, stories are how go way back before books and before video and stuff. Everything was passed on through stories.
For sure.
And I think that's why it's such an emotional thing. I think it's such a powerful thing. But look at what Instagram just did last week. Now you could say Instagram did this in response to Snapchat.
Right.
But Snapchat got so big because of video. Yeah. So now I just took through a buddy of mine last night was like, I was telling him about Instagram stories, which is like Snapchat stories. He's like, what? I mean, not everybody's realized this, but I mean, the big thing on Instagram right now is having is being able to do those video stories. You know what I like about it best?
What?
Have you done an Instagram story yet?
I haven't. I
haven't seen a good one. I haven't seen a single good one. I have to tell you, we're all sitting there looking at them and they're all really, really bad. Could be that I just follow bad people. But I have not seen Jen, have you seen a really good, like you clicked on an Instagram story and you thought, man, that's really good? No, right, because nobody knows what to do with it. Kids know what to do with it because kids will do stupid stuff and you think it's really funny. But as adults going to an adult market, we're like, I got 10 seconds, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do. And that's exactly what it looks like. But what it is, you get a 10-second story, a 10-second video. It can be stills. So I went to Tampa Comic-Con this weekend. Took my daughter, 10-year-old daughter, to Comic-Con. It was wild.
Did she
I put a picture, oh my God, she loved it. So she and two of her friends dressed as Pokemon. People were stopping. They all had the same kind of outfit on, but they were different Pokemon. People would be stopping them all day long, asking to take their picture with them. I kid you not. Like my daughter and two 10-year-old friends, and they're like,
there you go. So there's the lesson, everybody. If you want to market your photo business using Instagram stories, Pokemon outfit.
It's big.
It's big.
Huge. All right. But anyway, the thing I like about Instagram stories is you can put up a video there that is completely unrelated to your body of work. Right. It doesn't appear in your body of work. It disappears after 24 hours. But apparently no one knows what to do with it. But the bigger picture is that video is such a big thing. It's Twitter just announced they're making you can put longer videos on there.
Right.
Facebook, we're streaming this show on Facebook right now. And that has been a huge thing for our show. Hey, speaking of that, if you're on Facebook watching us,
shout out.
This would be a great time to share the show with your friends, please. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's talk about video.
Let's do it.
So storytelling in general.
Right. So we've seen, when we say storytelling, we're talking about all kinds of stories, but ultimately stills, video, music, behind the scenes content of you talking about your business. And these are all ingredients in storytelling, visual storytelling. And if you're a photographer or a videographer and you're trying to grow your business on social media, the number one way you're going to do it is by interrupting somebody's sort of fast-paced feed with something that's relevant and interesting to them. If you're not sure what to post content showing what you love about being a photographer, right? These videos with music and images are getting 5 to 10 times more shares than single static images. We've tracked this stuff for years. The other thing about it is that the same video that you're posting on Facebook, you can also post that obviously in these other places, right? Again,
if it's under a minute, you can post it a lot of places.
That's right. And you can always cut a short edit if it makes sense. But this idea that Facebook is huge, right? The videos are playing right in the news feed. So when you think about, if you put yourself in your potential client's shoes and you're scrolling down the news feed, these videos are coming up. What's going to grab the attention of your potential customers, right?
Can you tell me that you were telling me a story at lunch today about a woman that did newborn photography? Tell me that this is a great story.
So Anna Brandt, she's a successful newborn photographer in California. She's fantastic, but she's become an expert in video marketing because every time she does a shoot, or much of the time, she has someone recording behind the scenes footage. Now think about a newborn photographer. She has to be trusted with holding an infant, working with the family. These are days after the baby's been born.
Yeah, that's my baby.
Like that's some serious trust you have to build. So imagine somebody's got a lot of money to spend. They want to hire a newborn photographer. They have to make a quick decision, and they see all these videos of Anna working with her customers. It's basically just video of behind the scenes, some really great music, We're happy to provide the music for, and then some still images showing the final finished video or images. And she posted a video 2 weeks ago, and there's 170,000 views.
170,000 views.
So
how many shares? You told me.
over 2,400.
2,400 shares.
This was something that I saw weeks ago, so it's probably more than that. And my takeaway is that it cost her nothing, essentially, other than after she makes the video, to have 2,400 people do her marketing for her, right? And these are people, if you see other families sharing this, these are real potential clients of hers, how much more likely is it that other people with money are going to call her and say, you know what, I trust it. I trust you. I can see that my friends trust you. I can see that they're sharing your work. I can see you working with your clients. And that is profoundly different than, here's the plan B. Her images are great, but what if she just, all she posted was single beautiful pictures of newborns? Well, that's what every newborn photographer does. Right. Of course they're adorable. They're newborns.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Right? I mean, you don't need a lot of photo touching up for a newborn, I don't think. Their skin's already perfect. But when you see the photographer, everybody wants to work with someone they like. And that's the biggest thing that I see photographers missing. They're so busy, it's like a musician. I'm so busy posting my music, you don't know anything about me, you're hoping the song is good enough. Whereas if you're a photographer, you post these great images and people adore the images, but they want to work with someone they trust.
Well, look how many musicians became stars because of their video, not because of the song.
That's it. We like to be entertained. I call it a multi-sensory approach. If I show you a video and I turn off the sound, we were talking about this earlier, that George Lucas, one of the most famous filmmakers in the universe, says sound is 50% of the story. And this is somebody who makes $100 million movies.
I like the way you used universe as the word instead of just in the world, because George Lucas.
George Lucas, Star Wars,
right.
Right. But that's huge, this idea that if I'm showing you some great images, your brain might be mesmerized by the images, but you're still stuck up here. Now, if you start playing emotionally matched music, something that helps that story become richer, more authentic, even deeper, it interrupts that silence. Because if you're selling in silence or you're promoting in silence, your audience is going to fill that silence with something.
Doubt.
Do I look fat in that image? And of course the answer is...
Yes, you do. You look like Jabba the Hutt. No, that's not what you would say.
No.
You wouldn't say that. That's horrible.
You might think it.
No, but you might think it.
But people will fill that space with their reservations, right? What is multisensory storytelling? It means that the images capture the imagination, but the music creates that emotional framework. And when people are emotional, they're more likely to take action. People see that Anna Brandt video. She's not even talking.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. So in that video, it's like literally, it's just a behind-the-scenes video. It's music and the video and no talking.
No talking. Now, you could take that a step further, and I'm sure I think she does some where she might do this as well, where she might go back and narrate what's happening.
Right.
But there's something really beautiful about the combination of those three items. So you don't have to make it super complicated. And the way that we get good at anything is by practice.
Yeah.
So this idea that if you're constantly creating a stream of stories that are all essentially pointing towards the same thing, which is if people see you as a passionate storyteller, you might primarily work as a photographer, but if you're also considering these as stories, you're going to build that trust with the audience. And trust is where real clients come from, right? This idea that they see something, they think, I like that. I could work with that person. And they might not know the difference between a perfect photo and a pretty good one.
Yeah.
But they certainly know that
that's
they want
a thing, by the way.
Right, that's a thing. I mean, I'm not a photographer. I love photography, and I think I know pretty good photography, but
Hey, can I tell them what you are?
be nice.
No. So just to give a little background, okay? So I asked Roy to be on the show today, but he was actually here taping a class on the bigger picture of all this. So Roy's from a company that we've been working with for many, many years. We've been actually using your product for many, many years, Triple Scoop Music. So his company that you started it like you're a musician by trade and kind of a famous one as well, and you've done some amazing things. If you go look them up, I did this, by the way,
Oh, no.
because I mean I've known you for years, and but we're always like talking at trade shows and how you doing, and we're working on something, but we don't get to like hang out like we did today. And so anyway, I went and looked. I just Googled him, and there's all these videos of you, and you look awesome and rocking and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, but he saw this kind of gap 10 years ago, right? About 10 years ago, and he started this royalty-free music stuff. And the the reason why, because I met you and I thought, well, he seems like a pretty nice guy and he's a musician. But until I went and heard their music I kind of got we've been buying royalty-free. Jen knows we buy royalty-free music. Well, we used to. We used to buy royalty-free. Now we use your stuff. But we used to buy it from all different sources.
Sure.
And most of it was, to be honest with you, was crap.
Right.
And it's like, you've heard the same songs again and again. Like, you'll hear a song and you'll go, oh, that was in that ad from whatever. I mean, it's a lot of the same stuff. And the very first time I needed some Cuban music, I think it was from my trip to Cuba.
I think so.
And I needed a particular track, and you guys had a track that sounded like a song that you would hear on the radio instead of, you know how royalty-free music sounds like royalty-free music?
Right.
Like you go, oh, that's royalty-free track. I probably have it on my drive.
There is such
I'm going to look for it on the break.
There is such a huge difference between the emotional component. So here's version A, version B. The old school companies, the way that things worked is they'd have all these musicians that were knocking out sound-alike tracks, and they probably paid them $20 an hour, and it sounded like that.
Yeah.
We basically went after award-winning, renowned musicians from all over the world, and we said, look, we're going to create something that's equally as good for the photographers as it is for the musicians. We need each other. They need permission to use better music. We're going to hand curate everything. There's about 25,000 songs. We probably listened to 400,000 or 500,000 just to get to that point. And it's a labor of love for us. There's nothing better for me when great music and great images come together, because think about it. You could play the song by itself and you might think, wow, it's a great piece of music. You might see the image by itself and think that is a breathtaking image. But when you put them together, it's something different.
It's crap. No.
That wasn't the word I was going to use, but it does. It's like, for instance, we did a test years ago where 3 slideshows. First one had no music. Second one had completely, horribly, hilariously mismatched music. And the third one had that perfect emotional track to complement the image. Probably no surprise to most people watching, but the first one, after about a minute with no music, this silence sort of fills the room. People start checking their phone, they're looking at their watch, they're getting distracted. We asked people to grade the images. They graded them 6s, 5s, 7s, in that range. The second one, we used the worst possible music, not ours, we could find, and people, because the image and the music were contrasting, the music didn't fit. It dragged the presentation down. We've all seen that, right? Horrible music can wreck a video.
Boy, can horrible music wreck a video.
Right. The third one, we found that perfect track that pulled the heartstrings just right. It wasn't manipulative. It was authentic. It was real. It's the only one where people were crying, and it was a wedding thing. It was the only one where people teared up. And when we told people what we were doing, first off, they graded the images 8, 9, 10s because they were feeling it.
So the quality of the rating of how they looked at the images went up because of the music.
Absolutely.
I teach this in typography.
Yeah.
Great typography can take an image and move it up.
Yeah.
And bad one can literally throw it down. We're getting so many comments. Can I just read some of these real quick, Roy? Sure. I don't want to cut you off.
No, that's okay.
Some of these are going to be for you. So, oh, hey, so Joni Rich saw that video you're talking about, and she said, great marketing idea. So she saw that one. All righty. So Jeremy Taco Patterson says, good afternoon, Scott and Roy. Hope to learn some big marketing tips today.
Definitely.
Bridget says, my favorite day of the week. The grid is awesome. Love you guys. Thank you, Bridget. Croc Dog, thanks for the great giveaway last week. The Lens Pro to Go gift card. Yay. That was great. I love Lens Pro to Go. Raging Badger, the best thing I could do for my extremely small marketing was to have someone hold a camera and shoot a few behind the scenes photos. Yeah. That behind the scenes thing is getting to be quite a thing, isn't it?
It's the differentiator. Again, most customers do not know the difference between 5. You might have 5 really good photographers all competing for your business, but the difference in that equation is you. Right? Matthew Jordan Smith, we did a promotional clip with him where we took a slideshow, right? Straight up slideshow of his work. And we just introduced behind the scenes images of Matthew shooting, his clients hugging him, high-fiving him, a couple little video clips of him talking about what he loves. And it went from being a nice portfolio slideshow to a badass marketing piece. Because he might be Matthew Jordan Smith, but you can do the same thing. If people see that you love your clients and they love you back, that's the name of the game.
Yeah. As soon as you said you see his clients hugging him and high-fiving him, you're like, wow, that's what it would be like if I was there, right? If I was there and we did a great shoot, you'd be like, yeah, this is awesome, stuff like that. Let's see. We have some more one here. Former photog is the name here. Roy, does this episode only apply to people photographers? To be more clear, someone who works alone, like I'm a food photographer for a commercial shoot. Yeah. So it's not something that can be publicized with behind the scenes video. I can't do behind the scenes when I'm out shooting projects because it's just me and there is no point. The stories, they don't want behind the scenes all over.
Yeah. Well, this is behind the scenes are great about capturing new client attention. So let's just say you're a food photographer. If you're shooting somebody's product, they probably don't want you using that footage for something else. So shooting behind the scenes footage, you might have to, this may be challenging, but you might have to create your own shoot. Because the idea is people are excited to see what would it be like if you're the food photographer? What would it be like to work with you? What is the process like? How can you can even educate your clients ahead of time. So the idea of marketing behind the scenes, there's no type of photography that you wouldn't benefit from.
Hey, former photog, I got something for you to do. Just because if you're wondering if you can't do behind the scenes, number one, Roy just I think gave you a great idea. Just go stage a shoot.
Right.
It doesn't have to be a commercial shoot that you do. No. You're just trying to show people behind the scenes of a food shoot. Go to, I don't want to give ourselves a promotion here, but I'm going to. Go to kelby1.com to our homepage. Scroll down and you're going to see video testimonials, and one is from a food photographer. All right, Steve Hansen. Uh-oh. The audio's out. Oh, okay, good. Sorry, we had some sound problems there. I guess I didn't have to tell you that, do I? You know. All right, so I'm going to recap for those of you who missed the sound. Former photog asked, well, I'll just recap what he said. Basically, he's a food photographer. He does commercial shoots, and sometimes he's doing shoots that he can't be publicized, and so he can't do behind the scenes videos, right? His client won't let them out there because he's shooting, and it's just him. There's nobody else to do a behind the scenes, so he says, the stories don't want the behind the scenes, basically. So what Roy suggested was, for those of you who had no audio for a moment, what Roy suggested was stage a shoot.
Right.
Just stage a shoot. It doesn't have to be a commercial shoot. It's just supposed to show what it's like, especially if you're by yourself, what it's like when you're shooting. So I would photograph something that photographs really, really well.
Absolutely. And the other thing you can do is there's not one way to do this. I mean, you're the expert. You're the food photographer. So I would say there's two ways. One could be photos. Simply take a slideshow of great work if you can show whether it's a stage shoot.
The final images.
The final images, and talk through the process, right? And then if you have someone, you can even have a friend or a coworker or someone film you as you're setting up the shot, as you're staging the shots, the way that you would work with a client, right? And if you don't know what to talk about, this works for every type of business. If somebody wants to learn about you, the best thing you can do is talk about what you love. So for instance, start your voiceover or start an interview where you train the camera on yourself and you say, here's what I love about my work. Here's what I love about working with clients. Here's what I'm passionate about. Because that passion, that love that brought you to this type of photography is exactly the thing that the clients who can afford you need to hear. It's going to separate you from everybody else in your marketplace.
You see a lot of videos, because you're saying that, you see a lot of videos that are shot where you don't hear the question being asked, but you hear the answer. And if you look at a lot of promotional videos, have a friend sit across from you and say, what is it that you love about shooting food?
Yes.
And then you go, well, my favorite thing about shooting food is, I'm a foodie. I love food. I love styling food, and boom, you're off and running, and then people are learning about you. The point I was going to make before we had the sound issue there was go to the Kelby One homepage, all right? Not the member side. Don't log in. Just go to our public side, kelby1.com. Scroll down near the bottom of the page. There are 3 testimonials, video testimonials. Go to the one from Steve Hansen, food photographer. You want to see a great looking behind the scenes stuff. Now he's talking about how he wound up being a food photographer. It's a wonderful video. And I wonder if we could play it. Jen, can we play it? Well, why am I asking Jen? You're not let's ask the director. Now I can't look at her because the director's in a different room in a different part of the building, and she's probably drinking. Anyway, so Mayor, not right this minute. You'd have to go queue it up or something, or maybe we can just play right off the Kelby One homepage. I guess I could do that, couldn't I? I could sync to, you're gonna tell me to sync to video control room too, aren't you? I'll tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna answer this question. We're gonna take a break. I'm gonna get us queued up, and I want you to see this video. And when you see this video, now he's talking about how he wound up being a photographer, and he gives us love in it, which thank you, Steve, because he went from basically a student to an instructor.
Nice.
But when you see the behind the scenes shots, you're going to know exactly what you need to go shoot. So
Look, it's all about put yourself in your client's shoes, right? Or a potential client.
Right.
You want clients to have a lot of money to spend. You want more of them, and they're all inundated with their Facebook feed the same way that the rest of us are. So something that's going to stand out is not just simply a series of pretty images. Those are great, but you have to do more. You have to talk about who you are as an artist, what it's like to work with you, and if you just start with that, it doesn't have to be a long video either. A minute or two.
yeah, let's look at. I'll show you Steve's and see what you think. It's not very long. His is short.
Yeah.
I just got to go. I'll go pull it up and then I'll sync and all that kind of crud. Hey, Peter Treadway. Peter, our buddy over there in the UK, wonderful guy, wonderful photographer, says, always been curious, where did the name Triple Scoop come from?
That's a good question. Long, long ago in a galaxy called Los Angeles. So, interesting fun fact, Triple Scoop Music started in 2006, and the name came because there were 3 partners in the business, and we each had 3 siblings, and I'm a triplet. So I'm one of 3 born at the same time, and that's essentially it.
Oh, is that where it's from?
Yeah. Everything seemed to be triple when we started, so the name just sort of stuck.
And what's interesting is they're identical, and the other 2 are girls. No, I'm kidding. That's crazy.
They're girls, and I'm the pretty one.
Who would say that? All right, let me find. I want to find Steve's thing. All right. Hey, I found Steve's thing. We can go to break after this. So, because since we're still on this topic, let me go to Video Control Room 2, which is where they always want me to go, to Video Control Room 2. All right. So, see if you got me there, Mayor. All right. So this is our homepage here. What you would do is scroll all the way down to the bottom. We have some testimonials, and I'm going to play this one for you. Food photographer Steve Hansen, and this serves 2 things. Is number 1 is for that photographer that just wrote in. I can't remember their name. It was just on screen a minute ago, but this is going to show you some great behind the scenes stuff, a great promo video, but more importantly, it's a wonderful promo for Kelby One. So let's watch this real quick. And let's make sure you got audio and stuff. All right, this is Steve. And this is really what you're talking about here, where he talks a little bit about himself and you see the behind the scenes. This is really, I think it's very well done.
Steve Hansen, photographer and director. My interest in photography began when I was younger, and I was an avid oil painter, and I loved creating 3-dimensional worlds in a 2-dimensional medium. I worked at Restaurant Danielle in New York, La Cirque in New York, the Herb Farm restaurant here in Seattle, all very famous restaurants. My transition from chef to photographer started when I was a private chef, and my goal was to create my own cookbook, write it, and photograph it. And during that process, I really discovered my love for photography. I Googled photography training, and up came Kelby One. And from that moment, I was hooked. I learned about post-production. I learned about how to use a strobe, how to run your business, secure your copyright. All these things can be found in this one realm. Kelby One's made it easy to understand a variety of disciplines in photography because you have so many different instructors there that challenge you. With Kelby, you get to go behind the scenes and understand a portrait photographer's take on lighting, an adventure photographer's, a landscape photographer's take on lighting. That's helped me define my style much more than any food photographer that I've followed over the years. What's really helped me from being a member of Kelby One for so long is the Photoshop content, because when somebody comes to me with a concept, especially in advertising, it'll be something fairly conceptual, and I have to be able to make that image happen. I get it as far as I can in one shot in the camera, but then there's always going to be elements which typically get composited into the image. Without a really solid Photoshop education, I would be very lost in the studio right now. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step, and that first step for me was Kelby One.
Nice.
So that's pretty cool, right? So, but to give that photographer an idea, that's, I think, a really great example of how you put together, and this is what you were talking about, where it's a little bit about you,
Right.
It's some behind the scenes, you had still images in there, and music.
Right.
And the whole thing creates, you got to admit, I mean, you watched it, it creates a very compelling thing. Jock Photo asked, Roy, how to market landscape photography? No one will buy, in all caps, no one will buy a video.
Yeah.
Is video just good to drive customers to your website? I'm not sure, John. I don't. You're not trying to tell people to make a video to buy it.
No, I mean, that's a whole separate conversation about creating videos as products. What you're trying to do is not sell video, you're trying to sell yourself.
Yep.
This idea, this is kind of a funny analogy, but someone said recently behind the scenes videos is sort of like if you're on a dating website and you're looking at people's profile, you have all these pretty pictures and it blends together, but it's people's personality you're really trying to discover. The idea again that if you're a landscape photographer, you should show some of your beautiful images, but you also should talk about what is it that compels you to do this type of work? What is it that your clients can expect working with you? And again, one of the best things you can do is start a conversation with, here's what I love about my type of photography. Here's what drives me, like this last video. Here's why I became this.
Yeah.
Right? Because what is it about you? If I'm going to hire a landscape photographer, I want to hire somebody who loves that. Right? Who loves it more than I ever could because their passion is going to help them capture my story. That's true for wedding photographers. If somebody asked, would you rather work with a really great technician who's kind of a bit of a jerk, who comes up with great images, but they're kind of a bit of a jerk, or work with somebody who is an amazingly inspiring person who's passionate about what they do, and their work's really good too?
You're always going to hire the person you like the best.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. Just like we talked about being in a band. We've been in bands, right?
Yeah.
I'd rather have the second best drummer who's a great guy than the first one who's just a
Pain in the
piece
butt.
of work. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, so Stephanie asks, the question is Animoto, which can be an animated way of doing your videos.
Yep.
Do it yourself or do it yourself on Premiere Pro. Now you use Final Cut. You edit with Final Cut.
I do, but I've worked with Animoto. I'm not so familiar with Premiere in terms of using it for a lot of projects, but people swear by it. I think it comes down to start off with the kind of story you're going to tell. Like Animoto is fantastic if you're uploading a couple short video clips and maybe some still images. There's a lot of great music from my company Triple Scoop Music on there. Premiere obviously or Final Cut Pro is going to give you the most flexibility. If you want to control the edits, you want to control the transitions, you want to have ultimate flexibility. Those are both great too. And it's not really one or the other. Right? You can experiment, you can explore. The main thing is that you don't let the question of what platform to use stop you from creating content. Right? But photographers and musicians do this all the time. It's like, well, if I get this piece of gear and then I get this piece of software and I learn all of these things, then I'm going to be an artist. Nope, that's not how it works. You already are an artist.
Yeah.
You can paint with black and white. You can have you don't have to have 1,000 words to be a poet. You just have to have something to say. Yeah. Right?
So we're gonna take a break. I'm looking for that song that I used in one of my thing. I'm looking for that thing.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I wasn't trying to be rude, but it was kind of rude. Anyway, I'm sorry. So we're gonna take a short break. When we come back, I just want to leave you with Bruce Williams' note here. Bruce Williams says it's 80% about relationships and 20% about what you know. That is so true. Every one of us in photography looks and sees like a particular a number of, it's not one person. I don't want you to think I'm pointing somebody out, but you'll see people and you'll go, I can't believe that person works and does these big accounts and because their stuff's not that great, but they get hired again and again and again because people love working with that photographer.
That's it.
And they want somebody that it's fun to work with, is easy to work with, that is on time, that is professional, and creates a good image. They don't necessarily have to be unbelievable if they have all the other pieces of the puzzle.
And that's one piece. I'll throw one other ingredient you could bake into these behind the scenes pieces of content. Consider when you have photo sessions, get a good picture of you with the client, your arm around each other, shaking hands, high-fiving, whatever it is, both video and stills, because when they see this behind the scenes piece, they'll get to know you. But this other part of trust being developed is when they see successful relationships with other clients.
Yeah.
Right? Like Matthew Jordan Smith. There's a couple pieces where you see like Tyra Banks, of course it's Tyra Banks, but she's got her arm around him and she's clearly a good friend of his and they love each other. But you get this sense, wow, she really trusts him.
Yeah.
Right? And if I'm going to hire a fashion photographer, I want someone who makes me feel like that. I want someone that makes clients feel that way. So remember that it's about sharing your story. Make sure the music matches your energy, the spirit of your work, but also make sure that if you have pictures of you with clients or video of you behind the scenes working with clients and they're happy, that says a lot.
It's true. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, more Roy. We're taking your questions and your comments, and I'm going to try to find the song that I used for my Cuban, because I started the broadcast with like a slideshow. I probably won't have the slideshow, but I think I have the music.
Oh, interesting.
So anyway, I know, right?
And if not, we'll find it. We can always follow up.
Well, it's just the best. Like, it was one of the first things where I went, holy cow, these, because I was expecting a level of music here, and that was the first time I went, oh, these guys are like, this is different. Because I've been buying royalty-free music for a year. We have a video company.
Right.
Been buying it forever, and it wasn't until that I was like, this is just not, it's a different level.
It's real music. It's real artists.
It's what you said that you tried to do. By the way, somebody asked a minute ago, what is the name of his company? It's triplescoopmusic.com. Well, we'll bring up the site in a few minutes and show them. But there it is. That was David Pickles asking, what is the name of Roy's royalty-free sound site again? So it's triplescoopmusic.com. We're going to take a short break. We come back. I'm going to try to find that song. I hope it's a long break. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Oh, it's got to be right in here because it's me telling you.
Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to 10 Essential Techniques Every Landscape Photographer Needs to Know. My name is Scott Kelby, and we're on location in beautiful Cannon Beach, Oregon. So we're right on the Oregon coastline, and it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous day, and it's a perfect home for what we're going to be doing in this class. And we're going to be covering an awful lot. We're going to be covering everything from gear, from camera settings, for accessories, how to set everything up for maximum success, and we have a lot to cover. Come with us on this journey as we take you through the entire process to help you make the best landscape photos you've ever taken.
Well, hi everyone, Corey Barker here, and I want to tell you about my newest course on advanced compositing and finishing effects. Now, what we're going to be doing is going through the entire process. We're going to be selecting and extracting a subject, building a background element, and we're going to be adding lighting and particle effects to create a really dramatic look. So, we're going to have a lot of fun, you're going to learn a lot of really cool things, and be sure to check it out exclusively at kelby1.com.
Hey guys, Christy from Shark Pixel here, and I am so excited to share my new class with you. It's all about how to protect yourself against some of the most common mistakes that photographers make, especially when they're just starting out in their career. You're going to learn things like how to fix overexposed images. You're going to learn how to get rid of motion blur from images, how to get rid of noise from images. You're also going to learn how to even the lighting on your client's face. These are all super awesome tips that you're going to learn in this next class. So check it out only on kelby1.com.
Hey everybody, we're back. Scott Kelby here. We have Roy Ashen with us from Triple Scoop Music. We're talking about marketing through video, which has become the thing. Look at YouTube, Twitter, all of those. I mean, everybody, all they care about is video. All anybody cares about is video. It's become a video world. I'm very happy to be running an organization that does training by video. So we have a lot of questions and comments. I do want to mention a couple of things. First off, I'm going to be someplace next week I've never been before.
Where's that?
I've never been to Arkansas in my entire life. But
What?
I don't know how. I've been all over the world, but next week I will be in Arkansas. You're not going to find it on that website because that's not where I'm at. I'm in Tennessee next week for my seminar, but I'm speaking at Photo Expo 2016 in Little Rock, Arkansas. I've never been to Little Rock. I've never been to Arkansas. I've never been to Photo Expo 2016, and I'm doing the keynote there. The folks at Canon are sponsoring me, having me there. So thank you, Canon, for getting me to Little Rock first time ever. I'm very excited. It's supposed to be a very, very cool show, so I'm looking forward to go. So if you want to go to Google and type in Photo Expo 2016. That's how I found it, and go check it out. Or you can go to my blog. Yesterday, I have a direct link there on scottkelby.com. Also, so last week, every Thursday is new class Thursday. Last week's class, if you didn't catch it, is on Lightroom Mobile. It's on under Lightroom Mobile workflow, and it's from Josh Haftel. So that was last week's class. So that's Josh Haftel, and he is the Lightroom product manager for Adobe. So he is like the Lightroom Mobile, the Lightroom Mobile. So who better to learn the proper Lightroom mobile workflow
The
than
official.
the product manager from freaking Adobe. So anyway, he's very
nice.
good, and he's a very cool guy. So I don't think he is a musician, but he looks like he should be. Like I think I made him an honorary musician while he was here because he's got the look.
He's got the look.
You go, this dude's in a band. And he's like, no, I'm not. I'm like, are you
So
sure?
yeah, people ask if people ask you all the time if you're in a band, eventually you have to learn an instrument.
Yeah, even if you're not any good at it,
Should be a rule.
I play bass. I would recommend bass. Here's why I recommend bass to everyone. 4 strings, no chords, no really soloing or improvising or really having to learn much of anything.
What fun
you
is
can
that?
play bass in an afternoon. It's awesome.
on.
So yeah,
I'm gonna push for guitar. That's my
guitar's
instrument.
hard as crap. But bass, not so much. Anyway, I can say that because I play bass. But anyway, so lots of questions and stuff. We're talking about marketing your photography.
Yeah.
So I want to say this. I want to read this comment. Oh well, let's start with Kathy. Hi, Kathy. Kathy Bateson. Hi, Kathy. Thank you for joining us. Kathy's asking, is there a discount code for Triple Scoop? And Roy on the break goes, well, maybe we can come up with one.
Yeah.
So can we come up with one? And when will we know it?
Let's see. Well, let's make it up right now, and
Ooh, good.
I'll call Los Angeles, and we'll have it up within 15 minutes after the end of the show.
Okay.
And and why not use the name of the show for
That's a great code.
the Grid, no spaces, THEGRID. That'll be active on the Triple Scoop site. We'll say, make it safe, say 20 minutes after the show ends. It'll be valid till the end of the month. It'll save you 10% if you're licensing music. But what I would like to say is, we just spent today filming a great new course about using music to supercharge your marketing and to grow your sales. And these behind the scenes videos, we have a bunch of examples from some incredible photographers, people like Jerry Jonas, Matthew Jordan Smith, Benjamin Von Wong, Anna Brent.
You just named 3 really great photographers.
There's some good stuff. And those are just a few of them. So Bill
I
Frakes.
love Benjamin Von Wong.
Bill Frakes.
Bill Frakes, there you go, sports legend.
Yeah, and he has this new film called Nebraska that we did the music for, and this trailer is out of this world.
So Bill Frakes is quite an amazing sports photographer, but Bill was, I think, an early adopter of adding video to what he does, and his video skills,
Amazing.
he's
become
off the chain on video.
Yeah, he's become a real filmmaker and a fantastic story. He's always been a fantastic storyteller, and now he's putting it all together. He's one of the first people, when Triple Scoop started 10 years ago, we met Bill, and he was already at the forefront of combining stills and video and music. And he realized that this is the wave of storytelling, right? Again, the more sensory attachment people have.
I think that's his real passion now.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if you
great.
talk to Bill, he's done it all in photography. He'll go shoot the Kentucky Derby and set up 26 remote cameras. I mean, he does stuff on a level that, he shoots for Sports Illustrated, so he's able to do things that mortal people aren't. But I really think his real passion lies there. So, all right, so just to recap, number 1, you got a discount code. It's The Grid, one word, and you're going to get that up by 20 minutes after we're off the air, theoretically. That will give you 10% off. So thank you, Kathy. Now, and Kathy, you also spurred something else, because I read your comment on the break, and I said, do we have a discount for Kelby One members? So we're going to be talking about that when we get off the air.
What we'll do is we'll create we'll call it an evergreen discount for members. So this code, The Grid, will be active this month.
Right,
But
so
if you're a
just for August.
subscriber to Kelby One, we'll have a code that's always valid for you. You can just go. I think you have a discount section.
Yeah, we do have a discount section. You know what it's full of?
Let me guess.
Discounts.
Hey, can I say one thing? Because I want people to understand this piece of it. So we're talking about video, and video is huge, and video could be slideshows, video could be a combination of stills. Obviously, music is a huge part of that. The course is going to talk about one of the big things people struggle with is how do you match up music to your projects, and we talk in detail techniques about how you can do it. What I did want to say is this doesn't mean that you should stop posting single images on your newsfeed or on Instagram. Those things are hugely important, but those are one piece of the overall marketing process, right? You want to show people that you can tell a story in a single image, but you also want to show people that as a storyteller, you can use all these other tools, right? Video, music, when you mix it all together, the sound of your voice. What's it like to work with you? All of these pieces. So
It's awful. Yeah, I can tell you, it's terrible. It's terrible.
But people ask me all the time, "Oh, you're saying I shouldn't be posting so many images?" No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying in addition, right? This is all part of the story of you as a photographer, you as an artist.
Well, you know what? Like you keep talking about the feed, and I think you're right. I get emails from Twitter, right? Twitter is all the time trying to tell me, do video, do that, and they'll cite stats like you were earlier about how many more shares video gets than stills. Anytime that you even show an animation, just a GIF, an animated GIF gets more views than a still. And so I think you have to still have stills.
Yeah, they're hiring you as a photographer. You
Right.
you need to show that you
Right.
can rock it with one image, but that doesn't tell them about working with you. That's your product, right?
Oh, sorry. We just got a cheeky check-in from Loftus Road, the home of the Queens Park Rangers. Evening all. Dave Clayton.
Hey,
I don't know
Dave.
if you know Dave, but he's one of the greatest guys in the world. Can I tell you how great Dave Clayton is?
I think Dave would love to hear that.
I just finished a book, right? I just finished a book on Lightroom Mobile. Just finished it. It literally went to press this week. It is at my publisher, Peach Pit Press. I dedicated my book to Dave. He is that great a guy. He is one of the greatest guys, and he's a wonderful trainer, and but a wonderful person. He really is just one of the best guys ever. Mark Rodriguez says, "Bass players rule." True dat. All right.
Well,
hey,
I take a sip of this delicious
in his
bottled
honor.
water.
Yeah. This is to you, Dave.
Oh my gosh, vodka.
Yeah, it's great.
Whoops.
We spike them. I meant to tell you, we spike all the drinks. It loosens up the gas, but I don't think that's really been a problem with you. So, all right, a couple other things. I found the song, right? So I went and looked, and I found the song.
There it is.
So it is from the artist's name is Jerry Galante. The name of the song is El Paso. So here we go. We're going to listen to I think it might be already playing here. So let me stop it and replay it. And let me know, Juan or somebody, let me know if Meredith is getting my feed here. So this was the song that I licensed to play behind showing my images from Cuba.
Yeah.
And so I can't hear it, but I'm hoping you guys.
El paso que tienes tú, nena, ese paso me gusta a mí.
All right, I'm just going to play a little bit. If you want to go listen to it, it's Jerry Galante. But like I heard that and I'm like, that's that next level, because I was expecting the cheesy Cuban music.
Yeah, this
And
guy's the
that's-
real deal.
That is the real stuff, and his stuff is great. I listened to a bunch of his. It was hard to, but you talked about this. Now I know I don't want to spoil your class because he did a whole class. You were telling me some of the things that you were doing in your class on how to pick the right music to fit the slideshow and stuff. And I don't want to ruin it for you guys, but we were at lunch and I'm like, that is so clever. I mean, your class is going to, I think, have really, really great value. Because I never hear anybody talking about that stuff, right?
Well, here I'll explain what happens. At least from I've worked in this industry now for a decade. I'm probably the geekiest fan of photography you'll ever find. I can't take a photo to save my life. I can play a mean guitar solo. But here's the thing: photographers typically, when they create slideshows or videos, they do something like this. They go, "Well, I really like these images. Here's a song that I just think is pretty cool. I've always liked this song." And they just put it together. And I like to tell people, I like chocolate and I like garlic, but I don't mix those things together. If you're telling a story, we'll talk more about it in the class, but of course the thing that you need to remember is that all the ingredients need to be working in harmony to tell the same story. Otherwise, you're just distracting people, right? And that's the number one thing that I can tell you will transform your storytelling capability, to remember that before you start getting all the ingredients to bake your masterpiece in the kitchen, you need to know what you're baking, right? You need to know whose story are you telling? What do you want it to feel like? And if you make sure that everything, if it's a behind the scenes video and you decide that what you really want is people to see you as being this friendly, passionate food photographer, as an example that we talked about earlier, or a wedding photographer, or children's portraits, or sports, make sure you focus that everything about your video is telling that story. If this song is awesome, and you've always loved this kind of music, but it just doesn't match your story, leave it out. You're doing a disservice to your story.
You're damaging the story.
Yeah, Steven Spielberg doesn't drive to work in his car and go, "Oh, that's a pretty good song. I'm just going to put that in Lincoln," right? I know it's not from that part of the
Is that a
history.
good movie, Lincoln? I heard it was good.
It's intense, yeah. I mean, if you're a history buff, it's pretty.
I do like
pretty
history.
groovy. You know, Daniel.
I use the history palette all the time.
Dan-
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
I'm sorry.
He's amazing. But anyway, that's the point, is that look to your heroes of cinema, look at ads that you love, look at TV shows that you like, and look at how they're using all of this content to tell a story.
Right. I'm going to tell you something that I really truly believe, because I occasionally will do my own video, and I've been doing this for many, many years. And I don't do a whole lot of stuff that you see commercially at Kelby One. I do every once in a while something, but I did an intro for our Photoshop World Film Festival.
Okay.
Which wound up being a bigger hit than any of us expected to be. We thought, hey, if we get a couple hundred people to show up, it would be great. It was like 500 and 600 people. It was crazy.
Nice.
But I made the video intro because everybody on the video team was just, they're doing all these big, massive videos, and I needed a 12-second intro. So I went to your site, and this is the thing. If you know what you're looking for, I knew I wanted something that sounded cinematic. So you know what I typed in? Cinematic. And the very first song was good.
Yeah.
The third song was like, that doesn't really fit with the video. And I got to like the third or fourth song, and it was like, I knew, it was like, and when you get the right song,
You know it.
not only do you know it, but it changes the video. Like, you watch it with the wrong song and you're like,
Right.
but even though it was a cinematic song, it had all the right things, but it didn't sound like in my mind, I pictured, how would I want this video to look? And I used a video clip from Adobe Stock.
Perfect.
I melded it with another clip from Adobe Stock, and I just did a transition between them, and it came out way better than it should have. But honestly, what makes it's nothing watching it silent. When you hear the right music with it, I was like, that is it. Oh, can I get a question? Because I wanna. There's so many good stuff coming.
Can I show you something real quick?
Oh yeah.
If you click up here at the top of the page, it says collections. I don't know if
Yeah.
you guys can see the screen. So we talked about cinematic music, something that we just recently released here. If you scroll down, but you'll see there's a whole collection of cinematic soundtracks. Kurt Oldman, who helped score Guardians of the Galaxy, is one of our artists, and he has some tracks on here.
Kurt Oldman right there.
Yep, Trojan Horse. That's Jerry Guionis just used that in one of his projects.
I don't know what it's going to sound like because you'll hear it out there, I think.
It's kind of an operatic.
We can't hear that playing in the studio, but even without me being able to hear it, I bet that thing kicks butt. That's the guy that did the music for.
He's on the score team. He's doing right now. I just had lunch with him in LA. He's doing Guardians of the Galaxy 2. He does trailers for Game of Thrones. So like,
Really?
this guy's amazing. I met him in LA 15 years ago.
And you can license his stuff right off your site.
Again, the difference between real artists and composers, they may not, remember, the music isn't supposed to be famous. It's supposed to help you tell your story. You're not
Right.
distracting people. You're not trying, that's when people say, well, it'd be great if I could use the Beatles. Dude, I love the Beatles, but everybody knows the Beatles. We're not selling Beatles records.
Great, man. That's a great band. I love all those guys.
Remember whose story you're telling, right?
Right. Hey, so let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Hypothetical. I'm a wedding photographer. I put together a wedding video,
Right.
different clips and stuff, because like I see the Justins, Justin Wojak, and they do a really nice. I saw one the other day, like a destination wedding they do with.
Okay.
I mean, the music made it. But let's say that I make one. So the reason I'm buying royalty-free music is because I want to be able to share it online legally.
Right.
I want to be shared everywhere. If I give this to the bride and groom and they share it, like I don't want to do anything that's going to, and they share. So let's just say, well, I use Trojan Horse
Right.
from Kurt Oldman.
Okay.
I use it. I know it's okay for me to show it. What happens when I give it to the bride? She shares it 50 times on Facebook.
Well, that's part of the beauty of Triple Skin Music. When we started this, our friends are professional photographers, so we looked at what their workflow is like. When you license a song using the pro photographer or the event filmmaker license, there's different license types. You have a perpetual lifetime license to use that song. So if you give it to the bride, she shares it on 20 sites. She makes copies for her friends of that video or slideshow. It's perfectly fine. Again, for us,
All right.
the goal for Triple Skin Music is to help photographers and filmmakers make more money by making it easy to use great music. And also, it's an online world. If you're using unlicensed music, you might get an ad placed over your video on YouTube, or the video might get yanked down. And more,
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah,
No, no.
well, more importantly, this is something we see. Keep in mind that if you're that wedding photographer and you use the Beatles or Beyonce or whatever, it's probably going to get yanked from YouTube. And it also blends in. The 13-year-old nephew of the bride can use that stuff and nobody's going to...
Right, but I just thought of something way worse. Imagine how humiliating it would be.
Oh, I
You
know what
make
you're
a
gonna say.
video for the bride.
Right.
You embed some song in it that they love. Yeah, you grab a Faith Hill song or something. They play it and they get it yanked down. They
happens.
get a takedown notice from Warner Brothers Music or something. How would that look? What's her next phone call going to be? A really pissed phone call to you.
Right?
And she's going to blame you because they took down her video or I mean, the domino effect of badness there is just...
Yeah, and look, it's too easy to do the right thing to make a bad choice these days. The bottom line is that if your client brings you their CD or their digital download and says, look, no, I can use this, I bought it on iTunes, you have to explain to them that only allows them to listen to music. It doesn't allow them to use it in a professional
Yeah,
video.
to republish it.
To republish it or make
Yeah.
copies. But again, if you're focused on the story, everything works out because the music isn't there to distract people, it's there to highlight the visuals. It's there to support.
You're right. So Matt Cherninsky says, the thing that's keeping me from doing much video is being skittish of video editing and audio. Any tips for audio editing setups that are solid for beginners?
That's a great question. I've spent years in a recording studio as a recording artist. I think if you're probably best looking at some of the leaders in the photography industry in terms of what they do when they record audio live, because you're probably talking about audio setups to capture audio in camera, or if you're doing an interview. But there's so many good microphones out there right now, and really the audio I would imagine that you're capturing for behind the scenes content,
Right.
It's not that hard. It's mostly
Get a
interview
Rode
footage.
mic, RODE.
Yeah.
Go to Rode and get a Rode mic. Now, Rode mic makes mics that actually plug into your iPhone. They plug into your jack, and they have get the little cat tail on the end of it.
Oh, okay.
Right. So Jared Poland actually recommended that one to me. It's about $31. I mean, it's not very much, but if you really want to shoot some serious, you're gonna need, like, Rode makes these top mounted mics that mount right on the top of your DSLR. They're shotgun mics. There's so many, but everybody seems to be going with Rode, RODE. So look at them. But I want to talk about something that's big about this. So I will tell you, I am the first one to have not got this. Why is my video department here at Kelby One so crazy about the quality of audio? They don't want any buzz. They don't want to hear anything in the background. If a plane flies over, literally our building, I was taping a video yesterday. If a freaking plane flies over, they stop everything. They're like, wait, there's a plane. I'm like, oh, come on, you're hearing a plane and all that. They are fanatical about the audio. And I didn't really get it for a long time.
Yeah.
Like how much, and until I think it was Steve that said to me, Steve runs our video department, he said, people will put up with crappy video quality, no problem. You'll watch a whole video, you'll go on YouTube and you'll watch the worst quality video you've ever
it's
seen.
compressed.
As long as the audio is good.
Yeah, that's true.
But if you put on a video and you can't hear the audio, or it's crackly, or it cuts in and out, or anything like that, you're gone. You are gone. And that really made me realize, holy crap, I'm not giving audio the love that it should get. So I think having great audio, not just having great music. Michael Thomas says, I've used Triple Scoop for my wedding slideshows, and my brides love the quality of the music. I also have used Triple Scoop music for my bridal show presentations. Well, thank you for sharing that unsolicited testimony. Let's see. Rose Kieran says I guess she watched the Lightroom Mobile class, said a real wake-up call. I just bought my new iPhone and downloaded Lightroom Mobile. Excited. Very good, Rose. Thank you. Nice to have you here. Rose we happen to know all of our viewers. Rose is from New Zealand, so good morning on the other side of the world. Bruno Miguel Santos says, my approach is, if I can tell a story with a photo, I can create a whole universe.
I love that quote.
That is a great one.
And remember, that's the goal, right? To tell a whole story in a single photo, but it doesn't tell us about you, the artist. So this is not an either-or proposition. Try doing both, right? Continue to tell those great stories with a single image, but also remember that people need to get to know the artist. That's what's going to get you as much work as the photo itself.
Wow. I can't believe that an hour is over, but an hour is over. I cannot believe that.
fast.
Oh, man, it went fast today. Really, really fast. So we have some giveaways. I want to mention Monday, this Monday, coming Monday, in just a few days. Guess where I'm at? Nashville, Tennessee. You know who else is going to be there? Hundreds of photographers from Nashville are going to be at my seminar. I want you to be there too. Go to kelby1live.com, or you might win it in giveaways, which are right now. So if you're in the Nashville area or just feel like going to Nashville on Monday, hanging out with me, Brad will be there. Brad the Beard, who lives in Nashville. So Brad lives in Nashville, but he's still on the tour with me. So Brad will be with me in Indianapolis also on the 25th. If you'd like to go to either Nashville or to, where's the other place? Indianapolis on the 25th. You can maybe win a ticket here. Go to kelby1live.com if you just want to make sure you're there. If not, our contest is at kelby1.com/webcast-contest. Say that you're using the grid and then give us your name and crap. But the most important thing is tell us what you want to win. Of course, you're not a robot. Tell us what you want to win in the comment section. Your choices are Peter Hurley's The Headshot, phenomenal book from a phenomenal guy. Shebang. Frank Doerhoff's Mastering the Model Shoot, best book on the topic probably ever, or ticket to my Nashville seminar, or ticket to my Indianapolis seminar. Monday in Nashville, a week later, the 25th in Indianapolis, and then it looks like I'm going to Minnesota. Minneapolis, I'm there in September. Minneapolis, I try to go to places like Minneapolis and Milwaukee when it's freaking freezing cold. So Minneapolis is a really great city. You know what's in Minneapolis? Can I tell you something you probably don't know?
Tell me.
You know what's in Minneapolis?
I was going to shout out to Prince.
We can always shout out to Prince. But the Lightroom team.
They're in Minneapolis?
Adobe's Lightroom team is in Minneapolis.
I thought they were all on the West Coast or something.
No, some of the management's out on the West Coast, but the engineers and the people behind it and all.
Okay, shout out Minneapolis.
I've flown to Minneapolis and met with them. Great people, really smart people in Minneapolis. Minneapolis is a cool town which would have a population of 26 million if it wasn't freezing, because it's an amazing town wrapped in coldness. But during the summer, it's just the greatest place to be.
Yeah.
All right. I just want to mention a couple things. A worldwide photo walk. I know a lot of people have been asking about us. Leaders, look in your email for an email from us today or tomorrow, depending on where you are in the world. If you led last year, you're automatically approved to lead a walk this year. So look in your email, make sure it doesn't go into your junk mail from the Worldwide Photo Walk. And we're, again, you can set up, you get, last year's leaders always get first crack at this year's photo to lead a walk this year. So keep an eye out on your email, and then Monday we'll have the official announcement, and everybody else can go, sign up for cities, and if there's not one in your city, you can apply to lead a walk. And anyway, that would be in your email box. So keep an eye in your email box. Leaders.
Do you have to walk? Can you strut?
You can strut, you can skip, you can dance, you can boogie, oogie, oogie. But anyway, leaders, I just want to make that sure, because people go, I went to the site and I can't sign up. Leaders of last year's walks, look in your email for an invitation to lead one this year.
You're saying look in your email.
I would look in your email.
Okay.
That's what I would do. But who should look in their email?
I'm going to say leaders.
Leaders, yes.
I'm going to go with leaders. Ding, ding,
yes,
ding, ding, ding.
Absolutely. All right, so there's that, and let's see what else. Oh, we got a new class coming out tomorrow. All our new classes come out on Thursday. Thursday is new class day, and I believe this one is from Mike Cabasi. It's called From Flat to Flattering, which is close to my From Flat to Fabulous, but Mike's is on shooting, all right? Lighting tricks from a Hollywood set. Mike is a photographer working in Hollywood, on Hollywood sets. He's been doing it his whole life. So go check out his class, From Flat to Flattering, Lighting Tricks from a Hollywood Guru. That comes out tomorrow on Kelby One. New class every week. Well, guys, we're over time. Where can they go to learn more about you? Triple Scoop?
Yeah, triplescoopmusic.com.
Triplescoopmusic.com. Hey, can we pull up their homepage? Oh, I guess I could.
Yeah, just click on the logo there.
Yeah, hang on. I got to just do a thing. I got a thing with a thing.
You got a thing?
I got a thing with a thing. Let's see. Where did it go? Where am I at? Oh, click on the logo. That's too easy.
There's the homepage.
There it is. What does your story sound like?
Yeah.
If you had your life to do over again, would you?
That's pretty good.
Sorry. Okay. Anyway, there we go. So go to triplescoopmusic.com. Great stuff. And of course, we're very excited to have Roy's class coming out, which goes into depth on all this stuff. And I got to tell you, he was telling me some of the marketing stuff at lunch today, and I was like, stuff I've never thought of, never considered, but the next time I'm doing a video, there's a thing he said. I'm
holding it up.
All right, I don't want to tell you what it is, but he was saying it, and I'm like, it's helping the creative process on doing these things. It's really, really great. All right, well, thanks everybody. Thanks to all of our viewers for your comments. And Peter Treadway wants to know which city I'm leading this year. Will you come, Peter? If Peter will come, I'll tell you where. Peter, I'll send you a text. Because I don't want to announce it till I announce it, but it's a good place. And I use miles. So it's not local.
Okay.
Thank you, Delta. When they're flying, they're awesome. All right, thanks very much. Roy, thank you very much for being on the show.
My pleasure. Thanks, you guys.
Thanks for sharing some stuff. And we'll see you guys next week. Wait, am I here next week? Where am I at? Oh, I am here next week. Terry White is our guest next week, right? Terry White. Yeah. Yeah, next week, Terry White. Adobe's Terry White. Whoa, can I mention this real quick? For anybody that's still hanging in there. So we're doing a lot that day, but we are doing a public webcast for everybody. It's basically Lightroom for travel photography. Sponsored by Adobe. Terry's here. We're doing it at night. Isn't it like 6 or 7 o'clock at night? Something like that. 6 o'clock at night, open to everybody. Tell your friends, invite people that aren't part of Kelby 100. Just come and watch it. And we're just going to be talking about Lightroom techniques for travel photography.
That's good stuff.
Oh, but there's more. That afternoon, there's a secret webcast only for Kelby 1 members.
Nice.
It's how to sell your photography, how to sell stock photography on Adobe stock. Terry is an expert at this. He's going to answer your questions. I was telling Jen about this in a meeting I'm telling you what, it's going to blow your mind. And if you're really skeptical about stock photography and selling your stuff, you especially need to be there. Terry is going to bust so many myths, open your eyes to so many things. That's for Kelby 1 members only. It's a private members only webcast, 2 o'clock next Wednesday. Then we have the grid. And then who knows what we're talking about with the grid. Bless you over there. Can we put a mic on you? And then of course, we have the travel photography open to everybody that night. We're just going to be straight tutorials and tips for travel photographers. That's all next Wednesday. Roy, thank you. Thanks to Meredith in the booth. You guys here. Peace out, all of you.
Peace
See
out.
you next week. Take care, everybody.